Northern Ireland still to strike gold in Birmingham's games. Will the breakthrough come today? Qualifying scores long gone, and it all comes down to one routine right now to decide the medals.
For England, James Hall.
Joe Fraser.
He can work this piece of apparatus really well.
And so here we go with Craig Heap, Christine Still and Matt Baker in the commentary box. All yours.
Well, you join us just for the latter stages of the warm-up here. This is the women's vault final, and simultaneously the pommel horse final will be running as well. So yeah, it's going to be, we were just actually having a chat there about the difficulty versus the execution with regards to the vault and the risk factor. There's the man, Rhys McClenaghan, the current Commonwealth champion, here to try and retain the title, but he's going to have to go some to beat Joe Fraser, who's up before him.
But interesting, Matt, there's only two gymnasts posted a score over 14 to get into this final, which is Joe and Rhys, and then the rest of the team is much of a muchness. I mean, the start value and the execution are crucial, and Joe and Rhys, well, there's quite a few there. 6-1 start value for Joe. Jesse Moore from Australia, James Hall as well, let's not forget him. He has a 6-2, qualified 4th with a 13, so he could get amongst the medals. It's a bit like the beam, this, it's could be anybody's.
Well, it's very unforgiving, and I mean, it's that thing of difficulty. It's all or nothing, and suddenly it can just spin away with you, the pommel horse, and before you know it, you're on the mat. So it's going to take some real composure, certainly with the arena like this, and all eyes are on you. There's nothing else happening in these finals other than the gymnast that's out there. So it's a lonely place, that pommel horse.
It would probably feel like you're the loneliest person in Birmingham, not just this arena.
So Kenji Timane gets this men's pommel horse final underway. Canadian was the 7th highest qualifier.
Flying high from the team silver. Starts off with a single leg work. And this is very difficult skills. Come on, you have to keep going, well fought. Need to really squeeze those legs. Keep the momentum in the double leg circle. Piece of apparatus where, I'm going to say, if you use strength, you will struggle.
That's exactly what we were saying just in the run-up to the start of this. One moment you're circling, the next minute you're back at the chalk bin.
And it's quite a difficult piece of apparatus because once you start using strength, you burn out quite quickly. The lactic acid builds up and you cramp up, and then everything just becomes so much more difficult. And then as soon as you touch the apparatus, then it kills the momentum. But that's a better start. Come on, you've got to drive the heels. This is better work. Up into the handstand. He's got to go straight up there. Well, what a shame. But he'll be well and truly enjoying his Commonwealth experience.
Well, he's around mid-table as far as the difficulty is concerned in this final. Joe Fraser from England will be up after the next gymnast, and then Rhys will follow him.
This overhead view shows you the beautiful straight line that the gymnasts have to show.
Pranati Nayak will get the women's vault final underway. She was the 3rd highest qualifier, 3rd at the Asian Championships just before the Commonwealths.
And this is the first vault. You have to do 2, and very nicely landed, actually. There was a little tight down, which will be a deduction, but chest it was a good landing. We've seen some varieties of landings, but this was quite strong, good shape in the air, just a step to the side.
Well, we've seen some good vaulting from India over the years, actually. It's obviously a strong tradition, and It'd be great if they could pick up a medal of the games. The double twist, a very difficult vault to generate. The acceleration there from the springboard, you can see the springs being depressed. A little bit of a separation on the way on, a little bit loose in the legs, so that's where you lose your 0.1s, and that's an obvious deduction, 0.1 to the side, but good, solid start.
And a highly tariffed vault.
Yep, the coach has got the second springboard into position. There's a couple of options, different springiness to help you up onto that table.
Yep, you can have 5 springs, 6 springs, soft, medium. It's quite hard work being the coach down there by the vault, lugging them all in and out.
And this will have to be a different vault. She scored 13.6 and then a 12.95 for the second vault. That one, very similar score, 13.633 for vault number 1, but the average will be taken from the 2 vaults. So you can see there on the difficulty scoreboard, this one's at a 5, so the whole vault marked out of 15 when you add the 10 for execution.
But she has some of the highest tariffs here. Oh, that was a shame because this is a very nice vault. Handspring, tuck front with the full twist out. But I think as she stepped forward, she let the knee touch, so that'll be a big deduction.
Well, what a shame, because she'd upped the difficulty from qualification. She did a 4-2.
Kenji Tamane scores a 10.833 to get the men's Pommel final underway. And Marius Georgiou is in contention for a medal here. He's performed well on Pommel horse. He got a bronze in the all-rounder competition. He's got a bronze with the team. And he actually qualified with the 3rd highest score of all the gymnasts here at the Commonwealth on pommels.
Well, can he turn the bronze into a silver? He's such a stylish gymnast. Look at that intricate work on one handle. It's got a real fluidity to it. Oh, and that's excellent work. He's upped the difficulty. He's been battling a bit of a shoulder injury and had time out, but he doesn't look bothered at all. This is beautiful gymnastics, legs and feet locked together, and that's difficult work. The travel down, the pommel horse going, oh! Well, what a shame, because he was going fantastic then.
Do you know, I think he thought the same. He probably just took his eye off it there, because it wasn't the most complicated move of the routine where that happened.
Well, you can see there he's almost smiling to himself, because you're right, he'd done the difficult part of the routine, and we would say quite a basic travel, and yeah, he just caught and slipped off, and that's 1 full mark. Come on. Now he does it there, the forward travel, no problem at all. The Magyar, and then coming back along the horse, he'll zip up into handstand with a pirouette. Well, what a shame, because that is a medal-worthy routine.
Absolutely, we tipped him as a real chance, but with him out of the mix, the door's open for the lads to follow.
But you know, that is something that often happens. He's been out with a shoulder injury, so he probably hasn't done the same volume of full routines. And you concentrate on the very hard bit and then let something easy catch you out. What a disappointment for him.
Pranati Nayak scores 11.76, so she's got an average of 12.699. Makes way for the second vaulter, who's the 2nd highest qualifier. Laurie Denomie has been brilliant at these championships on vault. She got a 7th in the all-around after a fall on beam, and it was a vault that pushed her right up the standings in the all-around competition. So a real chance for a medal for Laurie.
Tariff of 4.6. Oh, but beautifully landed. 1.5 twist. We've said many times in this competition that it's a blind landing. You can't see the floor before you land on it, but she sensed the floor and made that great landing.
Well, you won't see a better landing than that in this final.
Well, I'll say it again, we have been immensely impressed with this Canadian team. And they've been talking in the studio about the spatial awareness of knowing where you are in the air, doing your twists, somersaults, and that was absolutely perfect. The 1.5 twist, opening out the arms to stop the rotation in the spin and slap down the middle.
So where would you deduct from with this vault?
Well, you'll probably start the deduction from the springboard, so any separation, little bit of loss of form in the legs, but it happens really quick, and the judges don't have the ability of a replay like we can, you know, so look at the finer points there. Good enough on the landing, good vertical position as well. And look at the coach.
They do have a sort of baseline that the gymnast has to get higher than to not be deducted, and she would have a bit of lack of height and length.
13.566, but 8.966 on the execution. Second vault has to be different. Keep your eyes on the difficulty scoreboard just to her left. There it is, it's 4, so this one's marked out of 14.
Oh, and another very, very well executed vault. A handspring, pike front somersault with a half turn out.
Well, you see, this is the thing. It's not the most difficult vault that you'll see in the final, but because it was executed so well and you add in the scores together, that's her tactic to get a high score.
Absolutely, and she will have a little bit of a deduction for the legs apart. And again, it wasn't the longest vault, but very well landed. No landing penalties.
Marius Georgiou scores a 13.166. It's still a big score with a fall, isn't it?
Well, he upped the difficulty by 7/10. That's why he scored so well with a fall.
Joe Fraser pulled out of the all-around due to injury, but he's the highest qualifier for Pommel horse. Team gold under his belt. What can he do here?
Lovely control in the first element. And again, up into the handstand, great leg separation. He'll pick up now into the double leg circle. Beautiful work between the handles. That's so difficult. As he's circling and spindling on the handle, this all adds to the difficulty. And beautiful extension there. You look at the hips, almost floating above the pommel horse. This is great work. He must keep the concentration. And back down. Oh, he's packing the difficulty in. Come on. Needs to hang on into a dismount with the pirouette. No problem there. Wow, Joe Fraser. That is some routine. That will put the pressure on the current champion, Rhys McClenaghan.
Well, that is a huge routine, and Joe knows it. He went all out for difficulty, and my word, is it game on for Rhys McClenaghan, the Commonwealth champion, who follows.
Wow, what a super cool guy Joe Fraser is, isn't he? He wowed us in the team competition, and that was fantastic work. So strong, so sure.
Well, that could well be the highest score of the Commonwealth so far. 13.233 for Laurie Denemy. She's in the lead. Cara Kennedy for Scotland. Cara Kennedy is the Scottish vault champion. She was 14th in the all-round competition yesterday. So quick turnaround to refocus for this women's vault final.
Strong round off, good flip. Full twist in the straight shape.
She's the reigning national champion of vault. She made the vault final in the last Commonwealth Games.
The very popular vault with the round off in front of the board, the flip on, just a tiny separation of the feet as she flipped on. Good shape in the air, good landing.
Yeah, that should get well up on the execution there, Christine. You'll be looking high 8s. Very difficult to get into the 9s. That's the sort of ballpark figure they're aiming for. Good alignment down there. That little jump back.
Well, 13.233 is the average highest score so far. That's the score to beat.
We haven't seen many of the full twisting straights get into the 13s.
12.866. It's a good score for vault number 1. Nod from Cara. She's happy with that. Second time in the Commonwealth vault final for Cara Kennedy. She finished 7th last time around. So can she better that? Slightly easier here, a 3.8. So focusing everything on execution.
And the straight Sukahara, she used the round off in the first vault, so she couldn't use that in the second. Very much gone for good execution.
Again, another clean vault from Cara. Great position down the middle there.
Joe Fraser just waiting for his score. It's in, it's a 14.833. And that is going to be very, very difficult to beat. 6-1 look on the difficulty. So the reigning Commonwealth champion with a huge task ahead of him. Rhys McClenaghan, 23 years old now. He's going to need all of his skill and experience to help him out here.
Well, he can swing in a style of his own. Probably one of the most impressive pommel workers in the world. I mean, just look at the extension at the front on that circle. Well, a little bit of a break in the hips, but gains the momentum. He's got a big skill in the middle there. Such difficult work. Just hovering above the horse. Oh, and he just had separation there, but he stayed on. Come on, you've got to keep the momentum. Oh, he did well to control the dismount. Well, he's put up on a challenge.
Well done, Rhys. Yeah.
Little split in the legs, as he did in qualification, might just be too costly.
He did superbly well to keep it going there. His form was absolutely beautiful up to that moment. Yeah, I mean, he did everything he could to keep going. He managed to get back into the swing. But 14.833 from Joe Fraser. I think he knows.
Well, he didn't have such a difficult routine as Joe in qualification. He only posted a 5.7. He no doubt tried to up it a little.
Cara Kennedy in third with 12.633. Naveen Darius now at the end of the vault runway from South Africa. He's third in the African Championship. She's also got a floor final to come here at the Commonwealths. It's vault number 1. It's a 4.2 difficulty.
Very, very stylish. The flip onto the platform, the straight body off with a full twist. Watching it in normal speed, the legs looked very tightened together. Quite a short run here. She gains the power. Yes, look, beautifully locked together legs. Just the hop back on landing.
We've seen some fantastic gymnastics from these South African gymnasts. Interesting, there's no men's team representing South Africa, but the women have put on a fantastic show. And you can see technically where their gymnastics is going. That'll be a 1.5 twist, double twist in 4 years' time.
Well, the level of gymnastics really has raised, and to get a 4th in the team final in this company.
It was a very impressive result, that. I would imagine they're absolutely delighted.
Yes, it'll do a lot for their confidence, and I'm sure the programme as well. So Naveen Dari's preparing for her second vault. First one came in with a 12.8. Very good on the execution, 8.6. Naveen got a sixth in the all-round competition yesterday.
Which actually was a fantastic result as well, 6 all round. Oh, and a very nice handspring pike front somersault. Very clean work. 3 days in a row these gymnasts have been competing, and she's showing her excellent technique and resilience, strength to still be able to vault like that.
.133 for Rhys McClenaghan. It's not enough to go ahead of Jo Fraser. So as it stands, Jo Fraser in the lead. Well, story of what could have been for Rhys. Had such a rocky road up to the Commonwealth. He didn't know whether or not he was going to be able to compete. But they're here and competing. But he hasn't done enough to retain that Commonwealth title. Naveen Dari's 12.55. She goes into fourth. Well, James Hall, I should say, posted a 14.25 in the all-around competition, so he can actually better Rhys McClenaghan.
Yeah, he'll have to go through, though. I mean, that's the thing we're listening to Max and Beth talking in the studio about. It's a lot more difficult to stay at the top, you know, and being chased by the youngsters that are full of fight. And I'm not saying that Rhys has lost any of his fight, but he was under enormous pressure whether he was going to come and compete in the games. But, yeah, that's the man of the moment.
Well, Jo had real disappointment. There's a bit of a warm-up going on here, so this is James Hall just getting a feel for the kit. He'll be up at the second after this little warm-up here. But yeah, just going back to Jo, he couldn't compete in the all-round due to injury. He had an appendix operation just 5 weeks ago, recovered from that. Then he's got this major foot injury, which meant that he couldn't do all of his landings. Speaking of foot injuries, James Hall acquired one yesterday on vault, and he did superb to land his parallel bars routine, land his high bar, and then take a silver in the all-round. How he did it, we still don't know.
Well, that's the adrenaline for you, isn't it? And he's such a tough competitor. He was literally carried off the podium by his coach. And the thing is, you spend so many hours in the gym. You do it because of events like these. You want to go out there, you want to perform, show people what you can do. And, you know, luckily it's the dismount at the end. As he said, I'll just grin and bear it. Slightly different if you had a floor routine to do, but yeah, I know Jo was very disappointed not being able to contest the all-round primary school just around the corner. But he'll maybe get some satisfaction. Well,
he competed on 4 pieces of apparatus and got into 4 finals, one of which he's leading at the moment. Yeah. So just to bring you up to date with what's going on here, this is just a little warm-up halfway through the final for the gymnasts that are in the latter stages. And we're running 2 finals at once here, the women's vault and the men's pommel horse. I'm just hearing that Rhys McClenaghan has put in an inquiry on his previous pommel horse routine.
So let me just ask both of you, Matt and Craig, 5.6 as a difficulty score seems a bit low for Rhys. I mean, I'm sure we've seen him at Europeans with a much higher D score than that.
Yeah, and you know, he's probably got a couple of routines that he thinks he needs to do. So whether, you know, the fact that he's decided, oh, I could probably win the Commonwealth Games because Max is not here if I do my easier routine. We've talked about playing the difficulty against the execution. So it's better to put a routine together that you can do with confidence. But again, it just goes to prove if you don't hit the execution, then that's costly.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 0.7 down at the moment on Joe Fraser, but obviously he'd be having his eye on what James Hall will be able to do, and if James Hall can put in a 14.25, then every 10th is going to be vital to get a silver. So you can see that Reece feels hard done by here.
Well, yeah, and rightly so. If you feel like your difficulty score is wrong, you've got the right to object against that, and the judges will look at it, and that's entirely fair. And I think they'll look back at that, and maybe it's with this dismount possibly, or one of the combinations. And everybody makes mistakes, even the judges, and this is why we have the technology in place. It's only like the VAR in football's come in and completely changed the game of football. We've been doing this in gymnastics for years.
Be interesting to hear what Max Whitlock has to say back in the studio based on that.
Well, it'd be really interesting, because even if he does get the score changed by a 10th, like you say, it won't take the gold, but it could be the difference between bronze and silver.
Crucial.
Or bronze and fourth.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and he doesn't look very happy at the moment. I was just surprised, because I'm sure I've seen him with D scores in the sixes, and he would have known what Joe was capable of.
And you did speak, actually, Matthew, you thought it might be a good a draw for somebody like Joe, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Because he went up, you know, there's nothing like pressure from somebody putting in a good routine who's the favourite, and just to go, right, I need to focus on this, get it out of the way. And he almost put the pressure back on Reece.
He did.
You know,
yeah.
And whether that played a part, I don't know. I mean, we can discuss it till the cows come home.
Yeah, because actually, when you think about Reece's routine, it was just the lack of form that was missing. It wasn't like he missed a move or he didn't do anything that he was planning to do. So it was a split of the legs. I mean,
and that was reflected in, you know, Joe scoring an 8.7 E-score and him getting an 8.5 E-score. But even had he gone through absolutely clean, he was 0.5 down on difficulty.
Yeah, and interesting, it was the same sort of form fault he had in qualification, just on that skill. Now, presumably he'll have gone back to the training hall and worked on that. But again, Christine, I'm going to compare it to the beam. He probably hits that routine 10 out of 10 in training, and you can't replicate 10,000 pound in 10,000 people in an arena. You know, the pressure, the fatigue of the competition, the mental pressure. It's tough.
well, here's Emma Spence, who took a bronze in the all-around competition yesterday. I think we're going to start with the vault while the inquiry continues. So Emma was brilliant, 19 years old. She was 3 marks down halfway through the all-round competition. To come back was phenomenal. Vault was a big part of that.
It was, and that's a lovely 1.5 twist. Just a tiny bit loose in the legs when she popped off the top of the horse. But she has got a very engaging style. Yeah, she brings joy to her performance.
She absolutely does, and everybody gets behind her, and that big smile comes out, and there's... yeah, she loves it.
And you know what's really interesting? We talked a little bit more about the games and the meaning. We bumped into the Canadian team in the restaurant last night, and they had the reserve gymnast. And the conversation was, did you feel inspired watching the other performers? And did it give you that motivation? And it was like, yes, absolutely. That's the same right across the Commonwealth. These gymnasts, what they do here is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of inspiring the next generation of gymnasts. No bigger event than the women's football last night will inspire a generation of female footballers.
I think especially in such a great arena as this, with such fabulous organisation, you know, it is only second to an Olympic Games.
That's a very big score for vault number 1, 13.5. This one, 3.8 difficulty. But she'll still be up there with execution. She qualified with the 6th highest score, but could well go up the field here.
Well, powerful run. Oh, very nice. Full twisting tuck, Sukahara. She performed that very well. They're well-disciplined gymnasts, the Canadian team.
you feel, Christine, that they're working well within their capabilities, would you say?
Yes, but with good technique as well. And actually, particularly on the third day of consecutive competition, you have to have good technique if you're going to be able to perform tired.
Well, I can tell you that Rhys McClenahan's inquiry has been rejected, so his score will remain 14.133. Jessie Moore next up. Now, he's got a shoulder injury. He's pulled out of the rings final, which is up next. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets through this routine. Jessie was the 5th highest qualifier. He's the Oceania Pommel champion.
Well, he's another gymnast that can challenge. He has a 6-1 on difficulty. That's a very difficult skill on the one pommel. And again, building up on the one handle. This is great work. Splits into the flares. That's a real crowd pleaser. The turns there are called a spindle. Now, previously, you get a higher difficulty for circles done in the flare position, but that's been downgraded to the same as a double leg circle. That's nice work. Oh, this is much better. Come on, keep going, drive the heels. He's got to keep the momentum. If he keeps going like this, it could be a medal up into the hands.
Oh, Jessie. Oh, we were all thinking the same thing.
Oh, my word.
Oh, I think he got to the end as well, and he knew, obviously, what had happened with Marius Georgiou. He fell off. The door was open.
Yeah, right to the end, and just ran out of steam. And this is the thing about the pommel horse. It is so draining compared to some of the other pieces of apparatus. There's absolutely nothing left in your arms. What a shame. This is out. He should have done the dismount. No problem there with a full pirouette. What a shame for Jessie Moore. That would have been a medal-winning routine.
Oh, dear me. What a shame. It hasn't been his championships at all. He picked up that shoulder injury. Maybe that was to do with it as well. You know, it's been a big old programme here with round after round after round. Emma Spence, 13.05 is the average after the second vault, which was a 12.6. She goes into second place. Well, next is the all-around champion from yesterday, Georgia Godwin. She can't off-vault. She qualified with the 4th highest score.
Very powerful, very determined. Controls that 1.5 twist from the Sukahara entry very nicely indeed.
Well, if she can keep that consistency going, she'll land on a medal.
Well, she really is an incredible gymnast. 3rd day of competition, and she looks as fresh today as she did when we saw her in the team final. And actually, in the all-round competition, she didn't do the vault as good as that. So she's getting better.
Yeah, she is. She's a very strong gymnast. Well prepared. And like I was saying, you need good technique, you need to be strong and fit to survive a competition programme like this.
Well, proof that she is such a good all-rounder. Not only did she take the gold, she's also in the bars final and the beam final.
You can see how blind that landing is.
She said to me yesterday, yeah, it was a dream come true for her. She's battled injury, 13.7, huge score for vault number 1. Yeah, she's battled injury to be here. It means so much. She was so emotional to see her country's flag flying high at the all-round final with her name on it. Well, can she get another medal here in the women's vault final? Georgia Godwin with vault number 2.
Super handspring, front somersault, piked with a half turn out. I'm sure she can medal here. That was a very strong challenge.
Well, she's certainly firing on all cylinders today. Such a powerful gymnast. the handspring on, the gymnast have to accelerate hugely from the springboard.
Jesse Moore just waiting for his score. Oh, it's 13.366. Big score with a fall. What a shame.
That would have been actually a silver medal.
Yeah. With James Hall surely with his eye on a medal here now. Come on, James. Silver in the all-round.
Well, he's got some difficult work on this piece of apparatus, and again, he just needs to keep the momentum and the swing going. This is good work. Easily said than done, but they need to keep the legs locked nice and straight. Feet nipped together. Oh, little separation, come on. That's it, he's kept the momentum. Better to split the legs. Come on, come on, come on. This is it. He needs up into the dismount without any hesitation. Pirouette, well done, James Hall. That might just be good enough to win a medal.
He's through and he's got a chance. The score for the top three as it stands at the moment is 13.366. Come on, James. He's still hobbling.
Fantastic work from James. He swings with such strength. That was the error when the legs separated, but he kept going. I think that absolutely personifies James. Never give up.
Well, Rhys McClenaghan has a score of 14.133. He's in that silver place at the moment. Jesse Moore, 13.366. Whereas Georgia Godwin's gone into the lead. 13.233 is the average with 2 gymnasts to go. So she's guaranteed a medal on vault.
And very well deserved, I would say.
Well, the second of the Australian gymnasts now in this women's vault final. Got a bronze at the Commonwealth Games last time around. It's Emily Whitehead with vault number 1.
Good strong flip. Oh, 1.5 twist. But she had run out of steam there. Just not enough height and flight off the top. Flip on. And the floor arrived just before she'd finished the rotation.
I think actually, Christine, she was a little high on there and didn't have the chance to transfer the block into the height because it was quite long.
13.433 for James Hall. He's in the bronze medal place at the moment. Well done, that man. 2 to go in the Pommel final. As we go back to the end of the vault runway for Emily Whitehead's second vault.
You can see there, Christine, it was quite high on, so it's very difficult to push off and get the height. And it was, if you look at the length of the vault as well, just needed to transfer it, but it's all over in a split second.
11.866, way down from what she would have been hoping for. Difficult to muster the enthusiasm for a second vault here.
Yes, but you have to make sure you vault well because it's so easy to hurt yourself on a vault if you don't give it 100%. I'm sure she will. Lots of power down the runway. And actually that was a pretty nice vault. A little bit long. She does the half turn on from the round off, and she just doesn't quite block the shoulders off strongly enough. Here you see half on, and the shoulders just let go forwards a little bit.
Yeah, there was a real chance for Emily. I'm sure that's what they were thinking, to get 2 Australian gymnasts up onto the medal podium. But the Pommel horse final continues. Jo Fraser from England leads ahead of Rhys McClenaghan. James Hall in that third place spot at the moment. Jason Rampersad next up.
Oh, another gymnast with a relatively high start score. Nice control there in the double leg circle. Lots of height above the apparatus. That's what the judges are looking for. That's good. You've got to push the feet together. Well done. No separation there. Just a little bit of soft in the hips. That's it. Come on, come on, come on. Keep going. That's it. Well done. Fighting well. Crowd getting behind this gymnast. Come on, young man. Got to get up into the handstand. Slight hesitation, but he's through. Well done.
He's through, and that is the main thing, but I don't think it's going to challenge the top three. So we think James Hall may well be safe in that third place spot. Rhys McClenaghan, silver, and Jo Fraser currently in that gold medal position with one more gymnast left to go.
Well, another gymnast with lovely style, but similar type of mistakes from many of them, actually.
Emily Whitehead scores an average of 11.899, seventh place with one gymnast to go. Well, Shannon Archer is up last for Scotland with a real chance of a medal here in this women's vault final. Come on, Shannon, she's the highest qualifier, but she needs to go through well with 2 vaults.
And this the difficult vault, the flip on, the 2 twists. A little tiny bit off direction, but well landed. Little puff of the cheeks. You can see she's delighted to make that vault a third time. You need all the power, all the energy. Super shape in the air, 2 twists.
Well, she did so well to qualify in first place, and she had such a long wait to be the last performer. Huge vault. This will be fantastic for Scotland.
Well, hopefully she's up over the 13 mark for the first vault. 13.233 is the golden score at the moment.
It was a lovely high vault. Looking at the way the scores have been going, I think that'll be about a 13.7. Hopefully for her.
And she's going difficult with the second vault. That might be relevant actually to the first vault. We're just waiting. Every 10th is going to count here. 13.266.
A little bit low. She got the 0.3 for stepping into the red zone.
Well, Shannon Archer is going to have to go some here. She's posting a 4.4 difficulty. She needs to be very, very good on execution. Shannon Archer here with a chance of a Commonwealth medal in the women's vault final.
Drives the heels strongly. Full twisting Sukahara. I think it's a good chance. She's landed both vaults. She's done her job.
Well done, Shannon. Well, time will tell if it is a medal and what colour it will be. It's going to be a tentative weight.
Yeah, really suited to this piece of apparatus. Different entry side, no problem at all there. In position on the landing, just that step forward. A half-on entry. Blocks, a little bit of separation from the springboard. But wouldn't it just be fantastic?
Well, 13.05 is the average score in third at the moment. She's the last vaulter. So all eyes are on the scoreboard. It's third. It's third for Jason Rampersad. Ethan Dick for New Zealand. the last man in the Pommel final.
Good start, difficult skill down the horse. Has to settle into the routine. There he's circling around the one handle, squeeze the legs together. And again, this is good, clean work. Not the most difficult, we'll see. One of the lowest start scores in this final, but he's working extremely well. Come on. Coach shouting, drive the heels, that's the momentum. Up into the handstand, full pirouette, a good solid routine for Ethan Dick of New Zealand. Couldn't have done any more than that.
Well, another one, the key staying on in this final. Let's see where he ends up in the mix. But what about Jason Rampersad? Where did he come from? The 19-year-old qualified in 8th, and he's currently in 3rd.
Well, that's the great thing about the apparatus finals. Wouldn't you agree, Christine? It's a bit of a lottery once you're in there. Once you've made the cut, there you go, get up, nothing to lose.
Well, there's been a couple of falls, haven't there? People that you haven't expected, or mistakes.
It's a tentative weight for Georgia Godwin. 13.05, the score for bronze at the moment. Has Shannon done enough? She has! Shannon Archer has a bronze medal in the women's vault final. What about that? 13.083 sees Shannon Archer up on the medal podium. But there is the Commonwealth champion, Georgia Godwin, with her 2nd gold medal of the Games. You can see what it means to Shannon. Well, she had to wait till last to go. She kept her focus, and she's landed on the medal podium at the Commonwealth Games.
Great moment for Scottish women's programme.
Laurie Denomie from Canada. She vaults into 2nd. What a final. Well done, Georgia Godwin. Gold number 2. Ethan Dick finishes 4th. Outside of the medals, 13.66. What a finish. But Joe Fraser is the men's Pommel horse Commonwealth champion. He takes gold. It's gold number 2 for Joe. And Jason Rampersad takes the bronze to Canada. Such disappointment for Joe Fraser not being able to compete in the all-around. Rhys McClenaghan takes the silver to Northern Ireland. He just couldn't do enough to retain the title. But my word, Shannon Archer, a bronze medal. Jason Rampersad, and he's the shock of the final.
Well, the final 2 performers on the Pommel horse performed absolutely unbelievably well. Just superb. And if you're tuning in and you're seeing Shannon Archer from Scotland crying, it's not because she's had a bad competition. She's only gone and won a bronze medal on the vault. What about that?
Well, as the 2 men that are at the top of the Commonwealth on Pommel horse. Absolutely superb. Joe Fraser, Commonwealth champion. Confirmation. Joe Fraser takes the gold medal in the men's Pommel horse final. Rhys McClenaghan takes silver and Jason Rampersad the bronze. James Hall for Team England finishes in 5th. What a Pommel final. Jason Rampersad came from absolutely nowhere, but Joe Fraser takes the gold. He could only compete in 4 finals. He made every one of them, and he's got gold in the first. Georgia Godwin, she takes another gold medal, gold in the all-round yesterday. gold on vault today. Laurie Denomie, the silver, and Shannon Archer gets the bronze medal for Scotland.